This is Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, sponsored by Alive Credit Union.
All right, we are back for another edition of Fleet and Footy, and plenty to talk about. We got a couple of really great guests this week as well that we'll be chatting with about some high school soccer as those playoffs continue. And we talked to an Armada legend on today's show as well. So Miguel Gallardo, a guest on Fleet and Footy. Big Lou, how we doing?
Doing very well. Rejuvenated after a long weekend that we'll go over very shortly. But lots of exciting things to talk about. And yeah, it was a pleasure to do that interview with Armada legend, Miguel Gallardo.
So a tip for the business here. We don't tell them that you already did it.
Oh, I thought that was the whole point. Was that like that you already...
See, because I said we have a great interview coming up, but we didn't say that it was pre-recorded.
Sorry.
It's pre-recorded in case you didn't guess back at home. You would have guessed.
Figured it
they
out.
would have figured it. Well, you never know, man.
We weren't going to trick them.
You never know.
No, we weren't.
You never know. You were wearing something different in that
That
interview.
A nice little sweater.
In my interview, I'm wearing the same thing because I planned it ahead of time.
Continuity. Well, I didn't have this beautiful jersey.
Yeah, let's talk about this beautiful jersey that you are currently rocking, Big Lou.
Hamby, you want to put the Lewis outfit cam on?
You're just calling. You're calling for cameras now. Look at the Big Luke's confidence skyrocket. I absolutely love. He loves his solo shot, just so he can show off. So tell me about it. Don't just show it to me.
So this is the away jersey of West Bromwich and Albion. If you watched last week's show, we mentioned that the U16 squad was making the trip down to Orlando last Friday to play their U16 squad, the Baggies. What's one of their three nicknames? They got a couple more if you want to look that up for me. I know there's two more.
The Baggies?
The Baggies is the one that I did know. But yeah, the U16s went down to Orlando, Kissimmee, Lake Nona area, and played a late night game. It was chilly. It was frigid. We just got in just in time. The boys warmed up really quickly. But a great result in the end. Ends up being a 3-3 draw. The boys go down 2-1 in the first half. End up clawing back, even being down 3-2 to bring it all level at 3-3. It was just really nice to be able to test yourself against an opponent like that, especially the U16s who have had some really rocky games recently, have honestly really turned it around since this spring season has started, and I really think that this result was just the beginning of it.
All right, I'm trying to figure out what the Baggies comes from. Oh, here it is.
I'm trying to find the origin.
So the others, by the way, are the Throssels and the Albion.
The Albion, okay. I could have guessed that one.
Okay, it looks like Baggy Bird is one of the mascots. Came to be the term, a term they looked down upon for a while, but then they started to like it. One suggestion is that their rivals called them the Baggies because looks like the fans had to wear large baggy trousers to protect themselves from molten iron in the factories and foundries.
There you go.
Of the Black Country.
There's always a cool story about names in England.
I will say, so when you think about American soccer and you think about teams coming out with nicknames and sometimes forcing things, right? Sometimes things feel very forced.
Yeah.
Which is the complete opposite of global soccer, especially in England, where teams have been around for literally over 100 years. And so a lot of these teams have their name, and then they have a ton of great extra nicknames that have organically formed. Now, you're never going to see that here. You're gonna come up with a team, and either you're going to have it as your mascot the American way, shout out Jacksonville Armada, or you're going to force something really quickly on people because you want to have identity and you want to have merchandise.
Yep.
And so, like, in America, you're not going to see a team waiting 100 years to let something develop organically.
There's a mastermind behind the marketing.
You're going to go to a marketing company and say, what kind of crustacean can we be? How about a jumbo shrimp? Beautiful. Let's sell some jumbo shrimp merch. Shout out to the jumbo shrimp. Love their merch.
Well,
the sugar drippers coming up soon.
To say another little shout out.
Yeah.
Also to Nathan Walter, because
Honey Drippers. Sorry, honey.
Nathan Walter was once a player of West Bromwich and Albion back in the day, their academy. That's where he signed his first pro contract.
Okay.
He will definitely not let you miss that. He did sign a pro contract back in the day. Unfortunately, he had an injury, but fortunately, we got him behind the desk now, GM and president. So it was a pretty cool full circle moment, I know, for Nathan, and a great result overall.
Hamby, I think we got some video from the action down in Orlando. Big Lou, of course, you were there, right?
I was there.
Tell me what they do well, what the boys do well. It was 3-3.
Yeah,
a lot of scoring.
I've been saying that this is a U16 game, but this was kind of a little mashup between our U16 squad, the Jacksonville Armada U16 squad, and a couple of the JFC U16 guys who were trying to almost like a little tryout to see if they could possibly, make that jump to the next level next year. We have MLS Next ID clinics coming up. Here's that first goal from Joshua Kuhn, who is on our U16 squad. Absolutely bullies 2 defenders and just blasts it home into the corner. Put us up 1-1. This was a corner in the second half. His name is remissing me, but this is one of those JFC U16 guys that I was talking about, off the corner, a beautiful header. And our last goal was scored by another U16 Jacksonville Armada player, Julian Felix.
Played it back.
It's a nice,
like that.
It's a nice
build
little
up.
Yeah, I
right.
wanted to keep the whole thing in here because it's a really nice build up, especially this little touch
We
right
got to
here.
work on pans being quicker, by the way.
That's the huddle. Watch this. This is a nice little move here. Little overlapping run.
It does the player tracking.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother rant.
Tracks
I can
the
go
ball.
on. I hate it. I hate that. Okay, let's see. We're still
Don't
going.
give up on the play. Don't give up
Yeah.
on the play.
Still alive.
Nice little
Get the cross.
cross in. And Julian, who was hustling
Boom.
his butt off the
Nice.
entire night, deserved a goal and gets one really late to just tie things up. It was really cool at the end. We obviously all took a picture together. The boys got to give scarves to the other guys. So a really cool moment, I think, for all teams involved. They were going to play in a tournament right after that. So we were kind of like their warm-up friendly game, which was a really cool moment for everyone.
Nice. Very cool. And now it's back to reality. Back to the MLS Next schedule.
Yeah, back to reality. This weekend, though, like we talked about, it's MLS Flex. So these
Flex week. So this is a big week.
it is a big week, and
Which is still part of MLS Next.
yes, it is.
Don't act like that's not part of it.
But
It's flexing.
it's even bigger because they play Miami Kendall Rush, who is
Okay.
the first place team in MLS Flex standings. So it's a top of the table clash for the U19s. So I know Coach Bolowich and the boys will definitely want to get 3 points on the board after dropping some flex games that they know that they should have won.
All right. Well, let's go flex on them, boys, as we say here on Fleet and Footy.
We'll have that February team of the month to you after this weekend. So
Okay. Are we breaking that on next week's show?
yeah, definitely.
All right.
We could definitely do that.
Okay. I'm holding you to that.
No problem.
All right. That's what I like to hear. Content for
Always
the people
bringing
at
the
home.
content.
We
Always
love
bringing the
we love
content.
giving you the good stuff here on Fleet and Footy. Okay, so that was a little bit of the on the field action this past weekend. Talk to me about the off the field action for the Jacksonville Armada and their supporters, Section 904. You guys had a chance to take part in a great parade in the East Side neighborhood.
Yeah, all that off the field action happened Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Jumped on the bus back home, got in, woke up the next morning,
Remember, we talked about what kind of car it was going to be.
and we marched in a parade.
The Mustang.
It was a beautiful car.
There's Sebastian.
Sebastian Cardona, co-founder of Section 904 there. A lot of Section 904 coming out, marching with us. It made that march that much more special. The kids were waving the flags. They were handing out Section 904 stickers, handing out, gummy worms and candy. And it was just cool to be in that community in the future site of the stadium, marching just blocks away. Honestly, it was amazing. The sights, the smells of the food trucks when we were walking through the middle of it all. We had our own little stand-up selling that new merch. Nathan rocking it very well right there. Yeah, I mean, all these murals, we'll have a couple murals in the future at the Armada site. I know that in the East Side community, tie it all in together. But it was just really special. I mean, the music was amazing from all the bands. You had a couple high schools there, a couple middle schools. I want to say it was Icon Prep was in front of us, and that's the music that you hear on the social media post. So shout out to Icon Prep for that amazing background music we used on our video there. But Melanin Market has been amazing host to us. They're the reason why we got into the Eastside community with MLS Go, made that transition so much easier.
Which these are some of the MLS Go players, right?
Yes. So all these little kids in these blue jerseys that you see are kids who participate in our MLS Go program weekly here in Jacksonville in the Eastside community at Robert F. Kennedy Park.
Very nice. Awesome. That's good stuff.
It was a lot of fun. And the day really didn't stop there. I know the staff and a couple of Section 904, we went over to Crispy's before heading back over to Ruby Beach to celebrate Section 904's 11th anniversary. So got a few more in me before going to sleep that night, but it was a lot of fun.
Got a few more what in you?
A couple more beers, you know what I mean? A couple more beers.
Okay, all right, Lou. Okay, is that what happened at Crispy's too?
Yeah, got to celebrate a little bit. Yeah. Very good little pizza place.
Okay, getting after it. What we do on a celebratory
day. Ankle Dorada. They got Ankle Dorada.
I'm aware.
That's what I had there.
Okay.
You had to get some.
Yeah, no, you had to.
Also available in can.
Yeah, in can. Yeah, you get some. Go get a 6-pack of Ankle Dorada from Ruby Beach Brewing. Yes. Like Lou. Yeah. All right. Okay. Good stuff. I'm glad you guys had a great time. I know Section 904 celebrates. They love celebrating.
They do.
We love that. And we love that you got to take part in it, Big Lou.
It's always fun to celebrate. Celebrate with those guys.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take an early break here on the show because we, as mentioned, have a jam-packed show. But before we go to break, let's tease our interview that we've got coming up after the break here. And Jason, if we could do it with a certain picture.
Oh,
who do we got here, Big Lou?
That's Little Lou.
We got Little Lou here.
That's Little Lou and Miguel Gallardo there. That's I think that's circa 2017 or 18. That was right when Orlando City opened Exploria Stadium, named then Orlando City Stadium. I saw Miggy running around the concourse right before he had to host.
This is you only 7 or 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this was freshman year of high school.
Now, you're legally allowed to celebrate with Section 904, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm doing the math here.
Back then, I was not.
Okay.
Back then, I was not.
Just doing math in my head. Don't worry about it.
Stopped Miggy. I told him, I know you from Armada, blah, blah, blah. Can I get a picture? And he was gracious enough to stop really quick. And as you can see there, I'm in the dreaded purple colors.
I was about to ask, how many different MLS jerseys do you own? Teams? Team-wise. How many different
Probably
teams?
like 5 or 6 different MLS teams.
Season ticket holder for a different team in the state of Florida.
And a season ticket holder for your Jacksonville Armada. So
you're not you work for the team. You're not a season ticket holder.
I got that season ticket. It's automatic.
Okay. A seat in the press box is not a season ticket, but I digress. We've got a great interview you've got coming up with Miguel Gallardo, talking about his great time with the Jacksonville Armada, as well as what Miggy's up to these days. And it's really cool, the large career step he has taken to now reach a national stage. So that is coming up next right here on Fleet and Footy. People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
Imagine a
brokerage platform that gives agents the flexibility to move between comp plans so that they can spend their entire career in one place while earning stock and recruiting other agents. And imagine the entire enterprise is created and backed by a proven industry innovator. Now imagine this platform already exists. Imagine you own this platform. Imagine how large you can grow, how much revenue share you can earn. Just imagine.
Get local sports on demand with Action Sports Jax 24/7. All sports, all local, all the time. From the locker room to the field, the Jags, high school football, the Jacksonville Armada, and don't forget the Brett and Austin Show. They're all in on Trevor. Of course. Download the Action News Jax Now app, available wherever you stream or at actionnewsjax.com. TV, phone, laptop, desktop. Action Sports Jax 24/7. Jacksonville sports, all the time.
2024 provided plenty of memorable moments for the Jacksonville Armada on the pitch, including another conference championship game appearance for Tommy Krasanovich's under-23 men's team. Debuting this year for the first time, the girls in blue, as the Armada fielded a women's under-23 side in the WPSL and made its presence known with some highlight moments.
Potential goal of the season!
Then attention turned to the future, with MLS Next teams representing the Armada badge in 3 age divisions this fall, including an under-19 squad ranking among the best in the state. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
This is Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, sponsored by a live credit union.
Welcome back to Fleet and Footy. I'm joined here with my guest, an Armada legend, Miguel Gallardo. Miguel, how are you doing this afternoon?
Hey man, what's going on? Good to be here. Happy to talk about Armada and those wonderful times that I spent there, and just about everything else that's going on.
Obviously, you're kind of a local legend here in Duval County. It's been an interesting journey here in Jacksonville with the club, but you were the very first signing. What was that kind of feeling like, coming into a brand new club, a brand new environment, and being the team's first stalwart signing?
Yeah, look, it was a big responsibility, especially because they were pretty invested. It was a big project. I remember the very first game we played was at Everbank Stadium, and that's not a little thing. It was big. It was massive. We had about 16,000 people in that stadium. I think we played a preseason match versus Philadelphia Union that we ended up crushing them, which was so much fun. But I mean, just being the first time player there was really exciting to me. I was coming off of playing for Orlando City for many years, and I had some opportunities to go somewhere else, but being close to home, being close to my family was very attractive to me. And then once I went there to meet the people that were involved, they sold me on a really special project and an ambitious project. I was sold. And I always loved Jacksonville. I love the beach. I love the downtown area. I really love the people. I really do think that Jacksonville is like a hidden treasure of the U.S. I say that to all my friends.
Totally believe
because just the beaches, the food, the people, the diversity. I think it's a really cool town. So for me, it was, even though it was something exciting, it did represent the responsibility because, to be named the first ever signed player for them was a statement to the people. And that came with that responsibility. And I'm happy that I made that decision. And I personally had a really good time.
Well, I think there was a reason for you being that signing. You're very vocal, leader of that back line, able to get in people's faces. You were one of my favorite players to watch personally back in the day on the Armada. I think that kind of takes you into this gig where now you're talking on TV constantly. You got into broadcasting originally with Orlando City. And just tell me how you originally took that step into the water.
Yeah, so after I played for Armada for a couple of years, I was gonna have a baby, and me and my wife were discussing different things, and I had an opportunity to go play for a couple of teams. I was in talks with Minnesota United. It was gonna be their first year in Major League Soccer, but I had played for about 10, 12 years, and I really wanted to be home, to be with my wife and with my kid, and that was kind of the deciding factor. I didn't really know what I was going to get into, but I wasn't afraid of the future. I knew I could figure it out. And so when I moved back to Orlando, I got a call from the broadcasting director back then. His name is Marcos Perez, and he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I think there's an opportunity here for you doing TV. Is it something that you've ever considered?" I said, "No, I never have. Never really crossed my mind." But I'm always willing to give things a try, and so I started as a sideline analyst for Orlando City Broadcast back then when they used to broadcast for Fox or ESPN Plus, and I had a lot of fun, and I became um, intrigued in becoming better at it because I understood that it was unfamiliar territory for me, and I hate sucking at anything. I still suck at a lot of things, but when I suck, I recognize that I suck, and I try my best to get better at it. And I knew that I needed to improve in a lot of ways, and I think slowly but surely I kept improving. And then after being a sideline analyst, I became a studio analyst, and then quick after that, I became a commentator. And I spent about 4 or 5 years calling games for Orlando City before the Apple deal came on, and they made a very ambitious plan and purchase they purchased the entire rights for the league, and they invited me to be part of their commentators to do games, and it was really cool to travel all over the country calling games and seeing different stadiums. And I was a little bit upset that I wasn't going to be only calling Orlando City games anymore because I love Orlando City, as you can tell. But it was exciting for me to travel all over the country, call different teams and different stadiums, and then probably halfway through the season, they invited me to do work in studio, and they really liked me in the studio because of whatever reasons you just mentioned. I guess I still don't know, but I wasn't opposed to it. So 3 years into the project of Apple TV, 8 years into me being a broadcaster, I'm a studio analyst for Apple TV, and it's an exciting project. I'm really happy that I made that decision. I love my job. I love what I do. I love that I'm still connected to Orlando City by doing Orlando Soccer Insider on a weekly basis. That's like one of my favorite parts of the week, is to go in Orlando City, because even though I'm gone on the weekends, like, that's my team, right? And there's a special place in my heart for Orlando City, for Jacksonville Armada as well. And so yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to the last few years.
Well, touched on it a little bit. Now we're getting into the MLS season. It just started up. We tried to get this done before. We're getting it done now. So I'm excited to have you here. What are your thoughts on that exciting opening weekend? What really stood out to you?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. And obviously, there's so many things that happen, and probably the things that come to my mind right away is obviously the big expectation of Inter Miami and Messi winning the championship, right? Like, that team is stacked with Messi, probably gonna play most of the games in comparison to last year, where there was not only injuries, but he had to leave for Copa America. The team did set the record in points, but they failed ultimately to reach the goal, which is to win MLS Cup. You would have thought that playing at home, Messi, Suarez, Alba, Busquets, all on the pitch versus a very limited NYCFC side where they lost their best players and didn't replace them. And yes, there was a red card early on in the game, but they still couldn't come away with 3 points. I thought that was a fascinating story. The debut of San Diego FC with El Chucky Lozano, a big Mexican superstar. He didn't have his best game. He had a good enough game, but I think the biggest thing was that the team played really well against the current champions, and they beat them at home. One of their designated players, and last name Dreyer, coming from Denmark, he scored a brace and really good goals. That was a big, fascinating story. And then the amount of money that MLS is spending on players. Kevin Denke from FC Cincinnati, coming from the Belgium First Division, $16 million. He opens his scoring account with FC Cincinnati. They win 1-0. And then Atlanta United, they suffered versus Montreal. 3-2, they win at home. They suffer more than a team like that should. $22 million they spent on a player by the name of Emmanuel Latelaz coming from Middlesbrough. I mean, it's crazy the amount of money that they're paying. And but yeah, there was a lot of exciting things. Probably also the amount of mistakes that were made from defenders, just loose passes, heavy legs, lack of concentration. That is understandable. It's going to happen. I'm looking forward to the league continuing to grow, not just in big name players, but also in quality, because some of the quality that we saw was shocking.
One last question before I let you go. Can you name me a specific Armada moment, maybe with a coach, another player, a game that you remember that really sticks out in your mind?
I'll say a few quick ones, but I'll go into the one that really stands out to me. I mean, Boca Juniors, the Giants of South America, one of the biggest teams, I would say, in the continent, playing with a lot of their starters. That was really a fun experience for us. I would also say that my favorite one was playing against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We were the old school throwback jerseys from the Jacksonville team that played many years.
The team and jersey.
Before that,
those are cool.
they were red and yellow, so like very different than our actual colors. And we played against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and we ended up beating them 2-0. It was a really fun game. I made a couple of crazy saves that was very lucky, to be honest with you. But the most special moment about that game was the fact that my dad was there. My dad passed away a few years later, but that was the last time that my dad got to watch me play. And I remember him giving me a hug and saying that he was proud of me, which never happened often, not because he wasn't proud of me, but my dad was always the person that was hard on me. And I think that pushed me to be better. When I thought I did good, I did okay. When I thought I did great, I did good. When I thought I did okay, I did bad. That was my dad. And so that game, for him to just give me a big old hug, and actually my wife took a picture of that hug, and it's a very dear picture to me. That was probably one of the most special moments in my career, not just of Jacksonville Armada, but just my entire career.
Well, thank you so much, Miguel, for joining us. We'll be right back after this short break on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Ancla Dorada. The official bear of your Jacksonville Armada.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7. People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store, either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms, from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
This is Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, sponsored by a live credit union.
All right, good stuff there with Miguel Gallardo. We are back, and we're talking a little high school soccer now. Big shout out to the Mandarin Mustangs. I know the season doesn't end the way they wanted it to, finish as the state runner-ups in heartbreaking fashion, by the way. They give up a penalty kick in the first minute of the game and fall 1-0. But nonetheless, a terrific run by the Mustangs, a great season. That ends up being their only loss in the entire year. But what a run. What a run for the Mandarin Mustangs boys team, trying to become that first Duval County public school to go win a state championship in boys soccer. And just that short from a very talented team of Mustangs.
The Stang Gang.
And that's Louis Loran. The Stang Gang?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I got.
That's
they looked sad in that picture.
They were sad. Yes, they were sad. We're trying to lift them up by saying great season. They did have a great season.
They really did.
Now they're being called the Stang Gang for some reason. Okay, cool. Let's continue talking about high school soccer. And let's get to some of the highlights, shall we? Ponte Vedra High School taking on Lourdes Academy. This is the state championship game, and that's a goal.
That's a zapatazo.
A what?
Say it with me, Stuart.
I'm not saying it with you.
Zapatazo.
Okay. That's Lulu Konsuji with the goal.
A great name.
Made it 2-0. They would concede late in the game to make it 2-1, but it didn't matter. There's your celebration. There's your state championship. Ponte Vedra wins it again. I think that's their third title in 5 years. Yeah. They obviously have a great program out there. The Lady Sharks go and get the win, 2-1, another state championship. We said it at the beginning of the year. We were going to get some state champs when it came to high school soccer, especially on the girls' side right here in Northeast Florida. And we did. That was one for Ponte Vedra. Let's check out another. Here's Bartram Trail. A lot more goals scored in this one. And you started off there with Brooke Goss getting the scoring started. They take on St. Thomas Aquinas. And Bartram Trail has also been one of these powers. Now, they've been in the same district and really classification as Creekside the last few years, so they've been going back and forth with titles. Oh. There's Goss with a second goal. That was after they allowed 2 to Aquinas. So this one back and
great
forth.
Set piece.
Down 3-2 now. How about another equalizer? That's Bella Abensay with the equalizer to make it 3-3. We go to overtime. There is less than a minute to go in the second overtime period. Bang. Allie Fletcher. Breaking the hearts of St. Thomas Aquinas. But yeah, I mean, basically, that's your winner. That's it right there. Go celebrate, everybody. Bartram Trail.
A powerhouse out of South Florida, so yeah. A huge win for Bartram Trail.
And look, yes, a powerhouse, but our teams here in Northeast Florida have proven just how good they are this time of year to be able to go out there and get the job done in the state championship stage, and they did just that. So really, really cool to see Bartram Trail and Ponte Vedra get the championship runs started for Northeast Florida. I say started because, we've only just begun, as they say.
Yep.
You want to sing that with me? We've only just begun. No, nothing.
I don't know that song.
All right.
Although I did rewatch last weekend's show, and we harmonized on Champions very well. Very
yeah,
well.
I get that. I get that. We do. Go see Happy Gilmore for me. You'll hear that song in there. Okay.
I mean, I've seen Happy Gilmore.
I know. I'm just saying. Go give it a rewatch,
okay, right.
and you'll notice the moment I'm talking about for the song with Chubbs.
All right. Little homework.
Homework for you. As if you don't have enough work to do already. Thanks, Nathan. Putting so much on this young lad's shoulders. He deserves it. He needs
it. It's all fun. It's all fun.
Put it all on his plate.
Work is fun.
Those Academy games, is that home or away this weekend?
The Academy games are home.
Okay.
And they are at 10:30 and 12:30 respectively.
Hey, you knew I was going to ask you that, didn't you? Because I feel like every week I put you on the spot and say, when are the games?
So come on down to Patton Park
There you go.
and catch some Armada soccer if you're missing it.
Okay. I like that.
It's coming soon, you know?
Look, everything's going to come at us real quick here in this world. So, yes, go check it out. Before you know it, we're going to have WPSL and NPSL schedules. We're going to have games right around the corner.
Roster announcements. I mean, next week we're going to be in March. So, by my birthday month.
Are you one of the people
you don't get that? You don't. Hey,
I was waiting for that call out. From Hamby.
No, he doesn't. Hamby.
Well, we have a show theoretically scheduled on my birthday, so we could do a Lewis birthday show.
What do you mean theoretically? Are you thinking
March
we're
20th.
taking it off or something?
Yeah, possibly.
His 21st birthday.
Yeah. No, 22nd. Remember, he had a few with the boys the other day. So.
That'll be 24.
Okay, 24. Okie dokie. So that's coming up in a few weeks. We'll do a special Lou birthday celebration for one day. You don't get a month.
Okay.
All right, let me get back to what I was talking about before. That's high school soccer. Because, as mentioned, 3 teams have already played for state championships. Mandarin comes up short on the boys' side. Ponte Vedra, Bartram Trail girls both get the job done. We look at the smaller classifications they're playing this week, already advancing to the state championship game. And that game, by the way, will be played on March 1st at 10 a.m. So, quick math, that would be Saturday morning. 10 a.m. St. Joseph out of St. Augustine, so St. Joe's Academy, the Flashes, will be taking on Pine School out of Hobe Sound. After St. Joe's took care of business yesterday against Canterbury with a 3-0 win. So they go to the semifinals, they get a victory and advance on to the state championship game. So good luck to the Flashes and St. Joe's. Hopefully they can go and bring home another title, get one done on the boys' side for Northeast Florida and go get a win. And then on the girls' side, 2 great programs as well. Of course, St. John's Country Day. We talked so much about them. Once again, they're making another run, as the Lady Spartans do each and every year. So shout out to St. John's Country Day. And now we lead into our next interview, as we want to talk a little bit about Episcopal. The Lady Eagles getting ready for a state semifinal matchup, and that is coming up later on tonight. They will take on Ransom Everglades at 7 o'clock, so that's a team down in Miami.
It's an awesome name.
Ransom Everglades. Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it's like one of those English teams where it developed over time.
My elementary school in South Florida was Riverglades Elementary.
I know what the Glades are. I know what Everglades are. I'm just not understanding where the Ransom side of it comes from.
It's cool. It makes it more, edgy.
And we'll touch on this in the interview. But Coach Bolt was telling me that like their stadium is like on Biscayne Bay. Like it's on a really cool spot.
Okay.
It might be one of the most scenic stadium venues in the state.
Look it up.
Right up there with Bishop Kenny.
That is true.
Which, of course, has a
great
venue right on the water. Okay, so let's get into my interview with the head coach of the girls and boys soccer teams over at Episcopal. That would be UNF/Armada one-time legend, Jay Bolt. We are catching up with Jay Bolt, who heads up both of the soccer programs over at the Episcopal School of Jacksonville. And Jay, what a season for the boys team, and what a season for the girls team that continues on with a big state semifinal matchup against Ransom Everglades. Let's first talk about what it's like for you to be the head of both of those programs. That's not something you see all that often in high school soccer.
Yeah, it's been a special, unique experience, and it starts with the support staff. We have an incredible staff over here at Episcopal. Everyone is either super experienced as a former player themselves or a coach, and so that makes things a lot easier when you're managing both programs, that's for sure.
I was going to say, if you have to have any athletic director to support you, hard to beat a guy like Andy Kidd. We were fortunate enough to do a lot of the radio broadcasts with Andy as my color commentator in the early days of the Armada. So he loves his soccer, and I'm sure he gives you guys all the support you guys need.
Yeah, Andy from day one has been a great athletic director and obviously a big soccer guy. He was a great player at Furman and obviously for Episcopal himself. And so I've known him now ever since I was in high school playing against him. But yeah, it's always nice when your athletic director used to play the sport that you're coaching. I feel like he's interested, and obviously Andy does a great job making sure that all sports feel loved. But yeah, I'm sure if you asked Andy, he'd probably say he likes watching the soccer games a little bit more.
I would say that's probably fair. Let's talk about the girls team and what a great run it has been. Obviously, region champions, and to get a chance to play on this big stage. I mean, being amongst the final 4 teams in the state in your classification.
Yeah, it has been really cool this year, especially because we have 11 seniors, and almost every one of them has been a part of the varsity program for all 4 years of high school. So, for them, this is like their last chance, and especially beating PK Young and getting over that hump. They had knocked us out the last 2 seasons. That was really cool for them because it was kind of like that hump that we had to get over, and just to do it in the like penalty kicks, always really nerve-wracking but exciting. And so I'm excited for the whole team, but it's especially cool for these 11 seniors.
So I came out and covered one of the games earlier this year. Unfortunately, it was actually one of your guys' losses at home against St. John's Country Day. But playing a team like SJCD and really battling against that team and figuring it out. Look, they fell behind early, right? But they didn't let it get out of hand, which a lot of teams do against that squad. How much do you take from games like that during the regular season that kind of help you make this run that you're on now?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Mike Pickett's a legend, and I've been witnessing it from a distance forever. My sister went to St. John's Country Day. She didn't play soccer though, but I've gotten to see so many special teams come out of there. And so when you get the opportunity to play a big school like that, or a big team like that, I should say, it can only help you prepare for the bigger games when you're going to be facing good opponents in the playoffs. And, they beat us 4-0. Sometimes those losses end up being a little bit of a blessing because you can look back and try to fix some of the problems that you're having. And I think ever since that game, we've really tightened it up in the back, and we haven't given up a lot of goals since then. I don't know what the actual stat is, but yeah, I mean, every loss you take, you got to look back on it and try to learn from it. So, and good luck to them. I hope they continue their run. It's always cool seeing them do well.
Yeah, obviously great for our local area when it comes to girls soccer. Already a couple championships in the books from last week with Bartram Trail and Ponte Vedra both getting it done on that top stage. And now we'll see if Episcopal and St. John's Country Day can go and do it as well. We talk about the matchup. Ransom Everglades. We were talking off camera about how they have just a beautiful stadium. Luckily, you don't have to go on the road there. You get a neutral site. What is going to have to happen for Episcopal to be successful in this semifinal?
Yeah, so they're a really good team, and we've been watching a lot of tape on them. I think we've got to keep doing what we've been doing, which is being really stingy in the back and not giving up goals. And really, we are comfortable with knowing that we might not have the ball the whole game. But if we defend as a unit and play together and play really hard, which we've been doing, anything can happen. And so, that's the game of soccer. You don't have to have possession of the ball the whole time to win a game. Obviously, it's nice when you do, because then I guess you're probably not defending as much. But those are just like kind of the key things: is stay together, work for each other, and then when you do get those opportunities, you got to take advantage of them.
So here on Fleet and Footy, we obviously talk a lot of footy. We just did that with the Episcopal girls team. Let's talk a little Fleet. I want to bring you back to your U.S. Open Cup appearance and getting a chance to go out there and wear that Armada badge with a lot of guys who were maybe in a little better shape, maybe a lot younger than you. Tell me about that night and that experience that you got a chance to kind of take part in a pinch hitting role.
Okay, they were in a lot better shape than me. There's no doubt about that. I had not played a competitive game in, golly, 3 or 4 years, something like that. So, but it was really cool. And to be at my old college stadium and getting to play with some guys that like Riyad Klobuchar I played with growing up, and Micah Smoke right next to me played with in college. That was really cool. And the atmosphere and the fans were unbelievable that night. I can't remember what the final number was on attendance, but it felt packed. And obviously they were right behind us from minute one all the way into penalty kicks. And, I wish I could have played more than 66 minutes, but that's all I had left in the tank. But it was cool just to get to watch too, like from the sideline, like going into extra time and then penalties, and obviously coming down to the goalkeepers taking penalties, like that's like a movie. So it was really special, and I'm really appreciative of Tommy reaching out to me. At first I was like, I don't know, Tommy, I don't think I got anything left in the tank, but went out to a couple practices and I was like, I feel good enough, but I don't know how much I got, like how many minutes I have in me. So that was cool. So Tommy and Nate were awesome, and I really do appreciate them and that opportunity. It was cool.
Yeah, we kind of knew that'd be the case for both you and Jamal. Jamal gets subbed in there late in the game. You're thinking, okay, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes of regulation. Then you go full on overtime that he's got to go play through. And it's like, oh my goodness, this guy played a long time ago, and we're throwing these guys out there for some serious minutes.
Jamal's a beast, though. He's a different animal. That dude was in the Premier League and has played at the top level. So he still keeps himself in really good shape because he's older than me. But he probably didn't think he was going to have to play extra time too. But he looked like he was 20-something out there.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about that game is, we had a former Premier League forward. We had a future MLS top 10 draft pick playing on that with Micah Thomas as well. And obviously the heroics from Nicholas Hula at the end to score that game winner for you guys in the U.S. Open Cup. And then one just last kind of thought, you kind of touched on it, but getting to play at Hodges, at UNF, where you've more recently gone into the Hall of Fame there for athletics, how much UNF has really meant to you just to play there and to get that chance. And now you get to kind of go watch as a proud alumni as they go and, win a conference championship, make it into the NCAA tournament and continue to reach new heights.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. UNF is home now. There's so many, obviously being from Jacksonville, it's extra special to be the hometown guy, but so many of the relationships that I've built throughout my time at UNF, like even when I was playing and now even after, the relationships have grown even stronger, and it is fun to go back and to give back, and just to see the team doing well, and even just all sports. Like I like going and supporting the basketball team too, but it's really the relationships that are the most special, though, because you see some of the same faces every game. And Nick Morrow is awesome as an AD. Like, he's a man of the people. So if I go to a game and I see Nick, like, always fun to catch up and talk to him and see former coaches, former players. Coach Driscoll's always like going to give us a hug, and same with Miss Driscoll. So it's a family atmosphere at UNF, and I loved it. I love my time there, and I love that I'm still in Jacksonville. I get to go support.
All right. Well, Jay, congrats on this great playoff run for the girls soccer team over there at Episcopal, and for everything you're doing with the program there with the Eagles, and good luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great catching up with Jay Bolt, and good luck, of course, to Episcopal in their semifinal. And we'll recap all of the high school soccer playoffs next week on Fleet Footy. It'll all be over by then. So we'll
I was going to say finally. I feel like we've been talking about it for so long.
That's good.
I guess that is good because our teams are in it. Our teams are in it.
It's giving us something to talk about in the off season for the Armada.
It's good.
The main under 23 squads, which we'll be able to talk a lot more about them in the coming months. And speaking of the Jacksonville Armada, check out some merch. We got the new merch, Lou.
Got the new merch.
We showed the Black History Month parade. Nathan was rocking the quarter zip, wasn't he?
That quarter zip is nice.
It
has the Armada little anchor on it in gold. There's also one, if you don't like the quarter zip, that same logo on a pocket tee. So I also do like that one. But some of my favorites are those motto tees. I have them called in store. It's a white one and a blue one with the motto in Latin. I don't even want to attempt to say it right now because I don't have it in front of me. But those are my favorite two designs. And yeah, go check out the merch. There's still some cool stuff on there, and I know that we'll slowly be releasing more and more stuff throughout the year. It's just the first little batch of 2025, so keep your eyes peeled and grab yourself some new merch.
Who are we talking to about a Fleet and Footy shirt?
Ooh, it's probably a Nathan question. I need to get that pushed through though, because I know some people have been chirping in the ear. They've been telling me that they want a shirt, maybe a hat. They like the logo. They like the mic.
It's a great logo.
Yeah.
I mean, a microphone on an anchor is tremendous. I do love it. Yeah, we'll have to work on that, because then we can give away a prize. Prize for our different.
Oh, I would love that.
Engagements that we do with fans. Contests.
I'll talk to the big man. I'll talk to the big man.
You do that. I'm sure that's really high on his priority list, is making T-shirts for the goofballs on Fleet.
Yeah, I gotta sell these for him first. So we'll.
Okay.
Let's sell a couple, and we'll go from there.
All right, that sounds good. All right, Lou. MLS, as mentioned in your interview with Miguel Gallardo, the season is officially underway. Give me your opening weekend thoughts. What'd you think?
I mean, I was basically going to have the same opening weekend thoughts as Miguel, so I'll kind of talk about maybe some different games that he didn't mention there. Obviously, Inter Miami, what's going to happen with them? San Diego, awesome game. I'm going to mention personally Orlando, their DP signing from Croatia, scores 2 goals after spending $5 million on him over the winter transfer window, but they ultimately fall 4-2. So was looking for a little bit more out of them, especially in a home opener. St. Louis and Colorado, although tied 0-0, was a really exciting game. Zach Steffen for Colorado absolutely standing on his head.
I just knew you were going to say that, by the way. I didn't like
the cliche. You wanted to be
I just
cliche.
Knew you were going to say. I knew you were going to say he stood on his head.
And the other game I'll mention,
which, by the way, for the folks at home, not a great way to goaltend. FYI.
Well, that's like a last ditch effort if you're standing on the head.
If you're standing on your head, you're in a bad position. You're upside down.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't move around.
You don't like the cliche. I won't cliche you next time with the goalkeeper.
No, you will. You'll keep doing them, and I can appreciate.
And
that.
Charlotte and Seattle also draw 2-2. Charlotte really shouldn't have been in the game at the end of it. Seattle scores a horrid own goal to keep the points at 1 each. But my power rankings.
Yeah, let's check out your power rankings.
Didn't really want to change them up too much.
Hey, you added the apostrophe S.
I did. I knew it. I knew you guys would call me.
Look at this. You got like ups and downs and everything in this one. I
put Cincinnati up top. Atlanta is another game that I wanted to mention just because, this is the Atlanta of old. This is must-watch Atlanta in the stadium, on TV. Emmanuel Latte-Loth, Miguel Almiron is going to be absolutely lethal to watch up top.
65,520 attendance for the opener.
That was the 3rd highest attended soccer game in the world, actually. So thank you for bringing that up so I can remember that stat. And Inter Miami, I got dropping down 1. They really didn't have a great game defensively. LAFC could have played better. Columbus, who I was doubting, stepped up really well. Seattle had an all right game. New York Red Bulls had a really tough game against Cincinnati away. Don't really blame them for dropping points. The Galaxy, like Miguel mentioned, lose to expansion side San Diego FC. Charlotte, I have staying there because they escaped with that draw. And St. Louis City was that team that I kind of had at that 11-12 spot, along with Minnesota, who pip Orlando City and get that number 10 spot from last week.
They did what?
Pip.
They pipped them.
Yeah. It's a poker term. I love it.
Is it poker?
If you got pipped, you had the second best hand by just 1 less.
Yes.
Ace King with
random
the pair of
sport
aces, or the king.
See, I was
queen.
thinking it might have had something to do with Wally Pip.
No.
No?
You looking at one? Your Merriam-Webster dictionary?
I'm just looking stuff up. That's all. I like to look stuff up from time to time.
MLS is back, though. These rankings do not take into account anything that's happening in CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is just getting started in its first round. Some teams are already through. Inter Miami and LAFC, to name a few of the MLS teams. So we'll still check in on those weekly rankings, just because I think you'll definitely see it start to fluctuate here as these teams settle down into the season.
All right. I guess in cards there are pips, which are like the marks on the face of a card, which have a ranking system to them. So yes. For those who don't know, in baseball, Wally Pipp, the great baseball player who one day said, "I'm going to take the day off. Let that young guy behind me go ahead and give it a go." Lou Gehrig, who then started a consecutive 2,130 games in a row, taking his spot. So the idea of getting pipped,
wow,
it would work for your thing too. That's why I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because he stepped aside for a day and then his job was taken forever.
Wow.
So like you lose a spot on the rankings, you could get pipped. Wally pipped.
I mean, that makes so much sense.
Pipped.
That makes so much sense.
We learn things. We're
an educational show here at Fleet Footy.
We are an educational show. We teach and we learn in the process as well. Okay, MLS week 2. Anything you're excited about this weekend? Any of these big matchups you can't wait to see? I got them pulled up in front of me if you want me to run down a few.
Yeah, give me some.
All right, you got Sunday, Inter Miami is at Houston.
Yeah, yep.
Galaxy are at Vancouver.
That'll be interesting to see if LA can finally step it up. Vancouver had a fantastic game, absolutely destroying Portland.
Okay, San Diego is hosting St. Louis.
Oh, that's always going to be an interesting one. First home game in a Snapdragon Stadium. I think that stadium holds about like 35,000, so it should be a really good crowd.
You just like the name Snapdragon, right?
It's a great one. It's a fantastic.
Orlando City's hosting Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto, kind of a little bit of downfall, but they always got Franco Bernardeschi, so always a fun little watch.
Okay. And a ton of other games.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that San Diego one. That'll probably be my one to circle. That'll be really fun. Hopefully Chucky Lozano will score a goal for SD.
Drink your coffee because that's a 10:30 p.m. Eastern time start. Those West Coast games, they'll get you.
I'll be up and
you will
and ready to report on it for next week. So.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. All right, Fleet and Footy. We've got more MLS talk coming up next week. Louis Larandi's MLS rankings, weekly rankings. We're doing this every week.
In a couple weeks, we'll have a little bit of the MLS Next Pro season preview, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, very excited to get into some different leagues getting their season started here in the United States. So that brings us to, I think, everybody's favorite part of the show, Lou.
Is it really?
It's my favorite part of the show.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Stuart. I'm glad to hear that.
Do you want to say the title of it?
It's the weird soccer story of the week here on Fleet and Footy.
Pretty good. It's not bad. It was okay.
This week,
I like to spread it out a little longer, but go on. What
comes out of England. And the
Daisy Hill Football Club.
Specifically the club Daisy Hill Football Club.
In West Houghton. Okay.
This is the step 9/10 of
we get a little dugout
the English
here. Mind
Premier
your head.
League. Just wanted to give you a visual of kind of where we're at.
The level of
in
soccer.
The league.
Sure.
Now, this man you're seeing on your screen right now, this is Aaron Hunt. Now, Aaron is a Twitch streamer / YouTuber. He recently Twitch streamed himself taking over this club in the virtual game Football Manager. For those of you familiar, you kind of take over a club, and it's a little bit more intricate than a FIFA. You get to tactically place players where you want, encourage them, yell at them. It's a really cool game. Well, he enjoys.
Do you play Football Manager?
I do. I do.
What team have you taken over?
Oh, a couple of them. Okay. I haven't ever taken over the Jacksonville Armada just because that feels like that's too much of a burden. But I definitely have taken Real Oviedo to a La Liga title.
Okay. Carry on. Sorry.
So he takes his team, promotes them in FM, and reaches out to the club. And it turns out that the club is in some really dire financial situations. So they say, hey, you want to hop on as club chairman? And so he does. He steps on as club chairman now. And so now if you go to his YouTube channel, because I will shout it out because the videos are really, really interesting.
Okay.
Now it just kind of goes through the day-to-day of kind of what goes on at a small local club. And now they're trying to get sponsorships and deals in so they can improve the facilities. And it's just a really interesting insight on how the internet and soccer can meld in this weird way to where now this guy is, kind of like the focal point in the face of this club.
All right. Founded in 1894, the Cutters.
The Cutters, which is a great name.
It's a good name.
Shout out to my boy Cutter Naismith. I got a very close friend named Cutter.
Okay. What's the name of the guy from the weird story?
Aaron Hunt.
Oh, you said it. Okay, that's right.
Aaron Hunt. Go check him out on YouTube. The content's really interesting. That first video where it's like a 45-minute video. He goes over the whole ground. It's really, really cool to sink your teeth into.
Okay. It's not as weird as some of them have been, but it is off the wall, and I like that. I like that we get a normal weird to go along with the really weird stuff you do sometimes. Okay, that's it for this edition of Fleet and Footy. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back to our interactive mode next week, so we will see you then here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Get local sports on demand with Action Sports Jacks 24/7. All sports, all local, all the time. From the locker room to the field, the Jacks, high school football, the Jacksonville Armada, and don't forget, the Brett and Austin Show. They're all in on Trevor. Of course. Download the Action News Jacks Now app, available wherever you stream or at actionnewsjacks.com. TV, phone, laptop, desktop. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. Jacksonville sports, all the time.